Hey, welcome back, folks. And going into our second episode of Session Trace? Session 3, yeah, we're on Session 3. And we are now transitioning down to the scullery kitchen, where the bear man, Dove Folsom, is going to ply his social skills with the help. So,
Apply his social skills. I love it.
So, welcome aboard, folks. Let's get back to it. So, Mr. Poulsen. So, where's your first stop? Are you going to be heading back down that hallway towards the kitchen where you guys came in?
Basically, I'm looking for somebody that I don't want to find that butler dude because I think that he's way too tight-lipped. He won't tell me anything. But
Okay.
I'm especially looking for anyone who would have had contact with the kids. Like if the nanny is still around, I would love to talk to the nanny. If not, I'd love to see anybody who takes care of the house, anybody who would have had direct contact with the kids.
Okay. All right. So, okay, so the hallway here leads, there's the staircase that goes up, and then there's the hallway that continues back towards the rear of the house where the kitchen is. You have the front kitchen where you can see you would normally see a cook or two working and then bringing the food directly out to the dining room, which is on your left. But further back behind the kitchen is kind of the scullery area where the dirty kitchen is, and that's where people are doing all the hard work. That's where Edna is. She is if you recall correctly, when she was back there, there were two other human girls that were there. They're smaller, probably in their early teens, that sort of thing. So they were there, and it looks like they were supporting Edna. And then there's also there's the servant named Carolyn, who is the one who brought in some refreshments for you, and was kind of filling in. She is also in the kitchen as well right now. So that's the four people that you see when you come back.
As much as I want to have Dove, talk to Edna on behalf of his friend, I do. The job comes first. So probably Caroline. You said her name was.
Yes, Carolyn. Carolyn. Yeah.
All right. I will probably talk to Carolyn because she seems to have the run of the house.
Okay. So just kind of, again, bringing her back forward. She's got a slim build, probably in her teens as well, older than the other two girls that are in there that are right now. They're kind of moving around and bringing different things over to Edna. She's working over a big pot right now, where she's working on what smells like some kind of a beef stew of some sort. And but the spices and that sort of thing seems to draw it light years away from what you would normally smell in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
But still, it begs not just to the fact that she has more at her disposal, but that she probably has some pretty good skills as well. So they have the two girls that are there. Go ahead.
I'm basically going to. She's like working over that pot and everything like that and cooking. I'm basically going, because Dove is actually a fairly charming bear as a businessman who has to deal with people he doesn't like on a regular basis. He learned how to schmooze,
Right.
and so I'm basically going to walk up, just put out the biggest smile I've got, and be like, "That smells magnificent. What is it?"
So Edna like looks up from where she's she's kind of like going in there, and she's got this kind of a droopy face a little bit at the eyes, where it seems like she's probably just been up in the steam of a cook, a cook's oven for so long, so many years. But she looks back. She's all, "Oh, what you mean? What you mean? Smells? It smells good. You like the smell of it?"
It smells very good.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever smelt anything of its equal.
Go on now. You just try to smooth me up, eh?
A woman such as you does not need to be smoothed, I think. I only speak truth. I've never even seen anything like this. The smells, the aromas. I certainly have never tasted anything like this in my home.
She like the two girls that are there, like they're kind of like helping her like with the spices and that sort of thing, and they're both like holding this up to her, but their back is to you. But then they're hearing you talk and they look back and they're like, like just like looking at this big giant bear, right? And one of them kind of tips a little bit, and you see some, it could be like some salt or something that kind of spills, and Edna looks back and says, "Oi, oi, Karina, what you doing? Pay attention, put her stuff down." "Ah, you daft kid, go on, move on. What's your name, love? What's your name?"
My name is Dove Polson. Your lady has called me to investigate the missing children.
"Oh, missing children? What, you mean Henrietta and Michael? They got
Those are
missing?
the very ones. Yes, apparently the lady has no idea where they are. She expects foul play.
Oh, go on now, stop it. Jetty, come here, you. Come here. And she like grabs one of the little girls by the ear and brings her over. So she's like, She's like, come on, tell me where the kids are gone. Where are they gone off to? I just made plates for them about an hour ago. She's like, no, they're gone. They're gone. I haven't seen them. Oh, such wonderful children. I don't know where they've gone though. And so she's like, right, off with you. Go clean up that mess. You're spilling salt all over the place. You're gonna have rotten luck on this house for the next 13 years. So she looks back and she keeps stirring at the pot and she's all, "Go ahead, love. Have a seat. Have a seat." So she points to the hardwood table that's there. It's like all rough and beaten and everything.
Naturally, I find this. I'm guessing it's like, is it like individual chairs or is it like benches, like family style?
One side has benches. One side has a bench, and then there's like kind of an assortment of chairs. Not necessarily like the good chairs that would be out in the dining room and front kitchen and stuff.
As I am of a larger sort, and I'm pretty confident that Edna is the only other person of particular size in the servants' quarters. I will tend towards the bench because I'm pretty confident that will be better suited for my particular size.
Okay. So let's see here. I am going to do something here real super quick. And because I don't like to roll in secret, I'll do this now for all of you to see. Let me see here. Greater than 6. I should just use my own macro that I made. Why wouldn't I do that?
I see 1s and 6s. I don't know what this means.
Alright. So, Mr. Polson, if I could have you... I'm starting to talk like that again. If I could have you roll a perception check.
Oh boy.
Now you've got the double whammy of the ears and the eyes, but you normally have a 3 black dice penalty.
It's 2 black dice.
2 black dice. Only make it a 1 this time, simply because you're in an enclosed space, and so sound is kind of helping a little bit, and then your peripheral isn't as important because of the enclosed space here.
You know what I'm going to do? Because you're doing that, I don't have any perception skill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 extra dice and add that normal black dice in there. So I'm basically instead of being 1 and 1, I'm going to be 2 and 2.
Got it. All right, let's roll it up. Okay, 1 success on the white. Oh, 1 success on the black.
It cancels out.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. So
at least I didn't screw it up this time. It just
no. So what's distracting you as you sit down? Is it?
I do think of a. I do think that being surrounded by rich fare is not something he's used to. I would imagine that even in the presence of his patron, he doesn't generally share meals.
Right.
So I think that he is kind of overwhelmed between the steam and the sound and the moving about of people and the smells coming from that pot. I think he's just distracted.
Okay. All right.
Size. I don't think it does exist.
Yeah.
So Edna reaches up to one of the pantries and pulls down in a rough-looking wooden bowl, and goes over to a drawer and she opens it up, and you hear the rattle of silverware, and she goes like this. Oh God, you idiot! You can't use those. So she like goes over and goes to the next drawer and opens it up, and you hear kind of a distinctively less silverware type sound. And she pulls out a beaten up looking fork and a spoon, and brings over the bowl, ladles in some sweet smelling stew, and puts that in front of you. And it looks like it's a combination of beef chuck and also the tail. So oxtail. If you ever had roasted oxtail, when it's done right, it's super good, and that's basically what you have right here. So
Edna's
yeah,
good at what she does.
yes, she's an accomplished cook. So as you're getting ready to tuck into your meal, so the other two girls are like kind of over in the corner like cleaning, but they're all just kind of like watching you. Like so, it's she named them Jenny and Karina, in case you didn't understand it over my accent. But
Yes, I did actually.
oh well, good. So they're just kind of like they're cleaning, but they're like how like they're just kind of watching, like they're cleaning and stuff, and they're cleaning the same spot, and they're just kind of watching. So what does Dove do at this point?
Basically, he goes, like, have they actually like served me, or is it just like stuff out in front of me?
She actually brought the food to you directly.
Okay,
So that's
I will immediately, out of pure courtesy, I will immediately take a sip of the amazing soup.
all right. It blows you away. It tastes better than it smells. So yeah.
So I will entirely play this up, and I go, oh, I thought the smell could not be any better. I thought the taste could only be minimized by the amazing aroma, but oh, my mouth, it explodes. But I digress. There are things that I need to do. Please, tell me about the children. Tell me anything I need to know in order that maybe we can help find them.
Find the children. Are you sure they're missing? This is what happened.
This is when I remember that Edna is dim-witted.
Now look, I stay in this kitchen. It's where I go, and really they're missing.
Well, tell me this much, and if perhaps you did not see things, tell me who is the one who is in charge of the children?
Oh, who's in charge of the children? That's I'll be Carolyn, that's for sure. She's their director. Yeah, she's the nanny. Her and a couple of other ones, they help out, and then there's Molly and Joanna, and there's Martha, and then there's Mrs. Torbo. Oh, she's a nasty kid. And she like looks over and glares at the other two girls who are kind of giggling to themselves, and she's like, "Oh, she's nasty. She's a German. She's a German, she is." But yeah, so Mr. Straub's delightfully nice to me. I really like him. He always gives me.
I've met Straub. He's a lovely person. Absolutely lovely.
Oh yes, he's delightful. He takes care of me, makes sure I have enough to eat because I know how to eat. That's for sure.
Excuse me, Edna. I just want to go back. There was that woman that you mentioned, that the nasty one. What is that story? What goes on with that?
Oh, Mrs. Torbo's really nice. I like her a lot. And she like gives you a big old wink right here. I mean, you can actually hear her eyelid close. It's like so big and loud.
And then I'm actually going to. I'm not going to get up from the table, but I'm going to lean in and be like Edna, we're among friends here. You and me, we're friends. Tell me, what do you really think of this woman?
She she pauses and like looks over at Jenny and Karina, and she's like, "Oh, you two, bugger off then. Go on, go find something else to dust. Quit staring at the poor guest like that." And so they actually go on. I'll give you both a what for. Go on. And so they scatter and they go out the door that you actually came in, and they close it behind them. And so she goes back to the pot and she starts kind of continuing to stir it and like tasting. She's like, "Oh yeah. Oh, she's right mean, that's what she is. But she likes to keep everybody in line. That's all. I can understand it. You know, I had a cousin that I think lived next to a German one time. Gave him a beating. Beat him till he was bloody. I don't know why he gave him a beating. He's
That's
the
lovely.
German.
Here, Edna. Let us come back to this.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, yeah.
now, this woman, does she live here, or does she work on? Does she live outside and then come here to work with the children?
Oh, she's one of the head servants. She is, like Mrs. Straub. They live here, that's for sure.
Oh, excellent. I went British for a second.
She's infectious. She is.
She is. Edna's accent travels from character to character. Like, oh, that is excellent. Now, where could I find this woman? Where is her room? Is she currently in the house?
Who, Mrs. Straub? Or I mean, Mrs. Turbo.
That's the one. Yes.
Oh God! You just have to stand in the hall for a little bit. She'll find you. She got eyes in the back of her head, her little head, right under that mean grey bun she wears. Oh my gosh, I bloody hate her. But she's delightful, she is. I like her, she's a good boss.
And at this point, he goes in, oh yes, I've heard nothing but good things about her.
And she goes, look.
And he's gonna, and the name of that nanny again. What was her name?
Oh, Caroline. She's nice. She's nice. She's a bit quiet. She is. She's scared of everything.
Is she not the one who served us refreshments earlier?
Oh yes, that's her.
Ah, okay. I will have to talk to her as well. Edna, you have been absolutely lovely. A vision of loveliness.
Oh, go on, stop it with yourself now.
And okay, this is where we're gonna have some fun. Now, work with me here. Traditionally, in this day and age, when a gentleman were to call on someone, they would have a calling card. I would imagine that Dr. Loom would also have a calling card.
Is
imagine
that a true statement, Mr. or Dr. Loom?
Oh yes.
I would imagine that as a compatriot of Dr. Loom, I may perhaps have access to such a calling card.
I don't believe Dr. Loom would be stingy with his cards.
And at this point, I'm going to do one of those actions where, I take her hand in mine and press the calling card into her hand.
All right.
And I'm basically going to go, Edna, did you happen to see the dwarven gentleman that came in with me?
Oh yeah, I did see him. He seemed a bit perturbed. But God, I do like me a dwarf sometimes. Well, what's he like?
Here, my dear, is the situation. Sometimes, we men, we do not always understand how to communicate with women. We do not understand where the words need to come from. Sometimes this comes as agitation. Downright, how do you say in English? Surly. Is surly the right word? I believe it is.
Oh, of course that's the right word, but you know what? That's kind of the reason I fancy Mr. Straub. I like them when they're a bit stuffy.
Oh, you have not seen anything. Here's what I will do. I will leave this with you. And I just, again, put the card right in her hand.
She looks at it and kind of squints her eyes and looks at it, and she's looking at it clearly upside down right now, but... Oh, that's a fancy looking car, that is. This is his, eh?
That is his. And if you like a man who is stuffy, I tell you, there is no starch that is possibly in all creation that is more stiff.
Oh, God, I like the sound of him. I'll get him right stuffy, I will. All right. Hey, you never know. It doesn't take much to loosen him up. You know, Edna, she knows how to do that, and she takes her little stirring spoon and taps the side of the pot. Food's always the way to a man's heart. I tell you that right now. It's right through the gullet. That's what I say.
I bet it is. Edna, you have been so helpful to me. Thank you. I'm going to go and continue my investigations. We may see each other again before I leave. Thank you.
Investigators. piggies, and she's like already kind of like going back to the pot and stuff. Oi! Oi, Jenny, Karina, where are you at, you little daft piggies? Get in here! So we transition out back into the hallway where
I love Edna.
where the
Oh
group,
my.
the group is. Are you departing the drawing room, or are you waiting there to see if Mr. Straub returns? I forgot what you guys were doing.
No, didn't Lieutenant Blackwell say we should go find Dove?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
So you guys emerge from the drawing room. You slide the doors open and you look out, and down the hall you see the doorway, which Miranda, you, and Dr. Loom and Dove emerged in from the outside because you guys had to come in through the servants' quarters. You see two small-framed teenagers who are kind of pressing their ears up against the door to the kitchen.
Of course.
And they're like talking to each other and poking each other in the side and giggling and listening and stuff. And then, so that's what you see.
So I guess the lieutenant will ask, and we'll call them over and say, "Girls, have you seen our large friend about?"
They jump up and then they stand up and they're like standing up straight and everything. And then one of them elbows the other and says, "Don't be in there. He's in there." And the other one says, "He is in the kitchen here.
Yeah.
Shall we get him for you, Lieutenant?"
Yes, indeed, please.
The other one kind of like goes in and her eyes kind of linger a little bit on Lieutenant Blackwell, and but the other one kind of shoves her inside and opens the door to the kitchen, and the door comes up and almost hits you right in the face, Dove, as you're heading back towards the outside. And the girl who's like kind of staring at Lieutenant Blackwell turns around and is all, sorry, Gov. Sorry, Gov. I didn't mean to get in the way. Your friends are looking for you. So there you.
I'll basically give them a little nod, and I said, "I've been talking with the help. I have a few leads, I think."
And in the background, as the door's kind of swinging closed, and the two girls are kind of like watching as the door closes behind Dove, and you hear in the background, you hear, "I like me some stuffy it is, bye I go."
Oh my lord!
So yeah, and the door closes, and you guys are alone in the hallway.
Wow.
Dove is totally playing matchmaker on this one.
Oh my.
Bless you, Dove.
So basically, I'll basically share with them the information about Mrs. Completely unaccented.
Sure.
What is her name?
Mrs. Torbo. Torbo.
I did hear that correctly. Okay.
It is
Mrs.
a British
Torbo,
name, but she did mention that she's German.
German.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll relay all that information that Mrs. Torbo is basically one of the head housekeepers around here. She would have a lot of access to the kids, and that Carolyn is also a person that has widespread access. She takes care of the kids. So that those would be two people that we definitely want to talk to.
Excellent.
And at that point, after I put out that information, I kind of looked down at the doctor. I said, "Oh, and doctor, I do think that your lady friend, perhaps you should go and say hi."
What? What have you done?
"I've done nothing. I have only made the way clear for you."
Oh, work first. We have an investigation to perform.
At this point, I'll kind of because it's one of those, like the way you made it sound. It was one of those doors that kind of swings. Is that what I'm thinking?
Yeah, it does. It does.
So
it has like a locking mechanism, but right now it's open because it's after hours.
I'll just kind of lean it in, and I'll kind of like kind of nudge him into the doorway, and I'll be like, "Edna," and I'll try to get her attention, and I'll just like the doctor will be standing in front of me, and I'll just be like,
You great furry oaf! What are you?
Edna turns around and she's like, "Oh, hello there, Dr. Lum. How are you?"
Oh, hello, Miss Edna.
Oh God, no
We're here on
fancy
official
pants stuff
business,
for
of
me.
course.
I'm just call me Edna. That's fine.
Of course, madam. I mean, of course, Edna. At this point, Dr. Loom kind of realizes that he has something in his pocket, and he pulls out a large rolled piece of paper and walks stiffly over to a table and kind of pushes some vegetables aside and lays it down and says, as long as I'm here, I had a matter that was perfectly hypothetical. If you would imagine, suppose that a person were to ask you out to dinner for example, this is an example. He lays out this large piece of paper, and it's got these diagrams and these blocks and arrows and little scribbles and little mathematical formulas written in the margins. And he says, so, this just as a thought experiment, I thought that I would write out this decision tree. And you see, if you follow down the path of saying no to such a proposal, you'll see that if you say yes, your risk coefficient is actually almost identical. The only thing you've really risked by saying yes is a little bit of lost time, which, of course, at your wages is practically negligible. But if you go over to the yes column and you follow that path down, you'll see that while the risk remains mostly the same, you have the potential benefits of an enjoyable evening, of a good meal. And should you find it particularly enjoyable, perhaps more meals in the future. And so I just thought that this would be a useful piece of information for you to have, should the occasion arrive of someone saying, would you go to dinner with me sometime?
By the way, this laughter, entirely in character.
Yeah.
Would we be overhearing any of this from outside the door?
Yes.
Well, yeah, you could probably, you could hear it. I would
Okay,
assume,
because in that case, Miss Russell is wheezing with laughter at this point.
So
it's all
Edna,
shared.
so as
Joy
you were
is currently
talking,
leaning against the wall.
so as Edna was, as you were talking, Edna was kind of like, she got stopped on the word hypothetical, and you might not have noticed, but like she was kind of like, she's all, hypothetical. Oh, I like trees. Trees. Have you ever been? I got a chance to go to Hyde Park one time. Oh, you know what? We could do a picnic. Let me do a picnic with you, and I'll cook. I'll cook. Yes.
I love
yes, I'll
everything
cook
about
now.
this.
Yeah,
would be
I
wonderful
will
if-
go. I have some time in the afternoons between supper and tea. Between tea and supper, I always get those mixed up. Ooh, Miss Turbo gives me a walloping when I get that mixed up. But if you go between tea and supper, I'll have a smidge of time. I can meet you at Hyde Park. We could have a delightful bit of food. Let me cook for you. I'll cook for you.
That would be wonderful. At this point, he's just happy not to have to speak anymore.
Oh, that's good. We can have hypothetical trees. I don't know what it is.
So you'll see
But
that
we
the
can
math
sit
does
under a tree.
check out.
Oh, I like math. I know 1 cup and 2 cups and 4 pints and 3 pints and ounces. I know math very well.
Oh, that is magnificent.
my
And he
gosh.
starts backing towards the door and says, well, of course, we have an important investigation going on, so, and he takes off his hat and kind of bows as he goes out, and he says, it's a date then.
Oh, God, event it is. Oh, very good. How about the end of the week? We'll do it at the end of the week. That'd be
That
delightful.
would be wonderful.
She takes her long plaid skirts and she kind of takes them out and she's just doing a curtsy that just is amazing in your eyes. and
Takes up
like,
half the room.
and she and you could see just the defined muscles that are in her arms and everything. I mean, it's like Schwarzenegger in his prime. I mean, it's just ridiculously muscular.
At that, Dr. Loom just says, I have to go.
I have a pressing
Runs
matter
to
in
the
the
door
other room.
and kind of collapses against the wall and says, you would not believe the medial head on her trapezoids.
Oh my gosh.
The largest I've ever seen.
At this point, I slap the doctor on his back and says, "You're welcome, friend. You owe me," is what I'm saying.
You are a wretched creature. There's probably fur in the soup. And then he kind of stoops off towards...
Oh my gosh.
Bon
And there's
vivant,
the-
doctor.
And as the
at this point, I look at Miranda and in Russian, I just say, "I told you, hilarious."
She's so busy wheezing that she's just shaking her head and wheezing with laughter. Oh gosh.
so before we go to break, you hear a severe thumping from upstairs, like just like the sound of something heavy, like, or not heavy, but like hard, just like hitting the wood floors. And from upstairs or at the top of the stairs, you hear an old woman's voice say, "Was gesteht hier?" And
Mrs. Torbo.
On that German note, we will, and I apologize to the folks in the audience, that was not very good German, but on that note, we'll go into our second break, and we will resume immediately after. Oh my gosh, that was such good times.